Welcome back, kicking back here, and the team, as you can see, just started a raid, and so I'm going to be demoing or kind of showing how to use Zylo in the raid. Some of the keys to know: I have Zylo around 175. You take him in only because you want him to get the dots in to have kind of the entire focus from the enemies, because that helps speed him up. One thing I'm gonna do is turn on airplane mode to start with, just to make sure nothing bad happens. But essentially, it's going to be kind of just attacking Grievous with Zylo's outrage as much as possible. I hate when this happens, and I'm forced to attack the IGs. We're gonna go, since the change of the reset or the retreat, no, it's not retreat timer, the escape button, this button we see here on that said 5 on the side. We basically get 1 or 2 chances, depending on the speed and gear level of your Xylo, to retreat. And at that point, if it works, you go ahead and do it. If not, so mine is a little bit lower gear, a little bit slower. Because of that, I will only get 1 time, and if I fail, I will end up retreating. So I'm gonna wait till probably. So I'm watching the up in the top left, the countdown to enrage. And this is the perfect point for me to leave, to try and leave, because this triangle is a pain in the butt to deal with. He gives taunt. I typically will try and leave at the point of a taunt. So at this moment, I need to now retreat, and it's going to give me that error because I have airplane mode on. You really don't need to, providing you have enough health and protection for Zylo, you don't need to have airplane mode on all the time. You pretty much want to do it when you're in quote-unquote scary situations, in case something goes wrong. So I know I'm going back in. I retreated. I'm going back in quote-unquote like it was just from 0. But obviously my team's been hitting him, and some of them have been able to retreat. So I know that I'm not going to turn airplane mode back on, because I know that he's at full health, full protection, and I'm not going to have much trouble. If I were going in after my first time, and maybe I was worried about him being lower health and protection, and whether or not I would get a chance to get back my protection, then it's that's a time where I might turn on airplane mode just to be on the safe side. Ugh, obnoxious. So they get taunt when one of their debuffs stick from either one of the IG-88s. One of their debuffs stick and doesn't get cleaned off before, essentially before your attack. So at this point, this is again that perfect time for me to want to leave, to try and retreat, or escape, I'm sorry. So try and escape. Failed. I'm gonna need to retreat here. Okay. And I do think having a better geared Zylo gives you a better chance, and having a bit more speed on him gives you a better chance, because you get a second chance to get out, essentially. I've tested several times, and even if I hit it at the right away, enemy, as you've seen, I think I've only waited 1 or 2 turns anyway. But even if I did it right at that very moment, it still is not. It still will not reset again. It won't get, my Zylo won't get 8 turns to reset it again before they hit enrage and I die. So if so in a case like that where he doesn't reset his abilities, you just want to go ahead and use his basic. Don't use his AoE pretty much ever. Really, that was annoying. You don't want to use his AoE pretty much ever because it will trigger counters and turn meter gain and stuff like that. So here we are at that 8 mark. Oh, this is, he should speed up a little bit here. This should be nice. Oh, except that he's taunting. Let's just try and stick with it for what, 2 more turns. So I'm gonna try it and 4. Yeah, I'm gonna try and leave now. Nope. Gosh. So you can see it's such a thing of luck. This is why right now we probably have 6 to 8 Xylos doing this, and maybe that might include some Savages as well, Zavages, some Zeta Zavages, and that definitely helps speed this up because it is slow going now that we have some of the changes to how the retreat button works. In the past, Xylo would reset it just like he resets his other abilities when he takes damage. Now he doesn't. So it is still possible to solo this phase with Xylo, but it would take probably, in my estimations, at least 1 hour with good RNG, and it could easily take 2 to 3, I would think, with bad RNG. So we're at 8. He's gonna do his little, where he gets the triangle above his head here in a second, and that's when I'm gonna try to retreat. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and try to retreat now since they're taunting. Hey, I got out. So you see, I did 76 damage because of those dang taunts, and I can go back in. This is a place where, you know, I'm at a quarter health or so. I'm sorry, a quarter protection left and then full health. So I'm going to go ahead and put airplane mode on just in case something happens. Probably shouldn't. And this is actually going to work well. So he gets a little bit of damage, and he's going to do, once his health drops below full health, he's going to do more damage and therefore gain more protection. So it's not that big of a deal, but always just want to be careful to not accidentally have Grievous go, you know, ape on you. And it has happened before where I've just had really unlucky RNG and Grievous goes insane, and maybe I was a little bit lower than I expected, and I died. So something to be on the lookout for and be careful of. Alright, so here's again where my special is didn't reset, so I just use his basic. We're at 7 turns right now, so, and on my next turn I'm going to try to escape because of that triangle. And I gotta leave. Ooh, yeah. It's really, you can, oh, yep, turn it off, airplane mode. It can really be a painful process, not gonna lie. And if for some reason something were to go wrong, I died, etc., I would just, double tap and force close my app, and then I would be good to go. I could reload the app and come back in, and I would still have my Zylo. Nothing would have registered. Here we go again. Nice to not have them taunting. It is going down fast, actually. Yeah, we launched this 10 minutes ago, so good to see people hopping in and working through it, because it can be slow if you just had one person doing it. Do his basic. Wow, that was a little bit early for him to do that, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit the B2. Super annoying. Okay, that's a point where I may end up needing to. Ooh, barely alive. So as you can see, that was a weird situation where RNG just went bad, and he dodged, he was getting hit, he was already low. So I'm trying to essentially stay alive here. We are on, what turn are we on? We're down low, I think. So I'm going to try and retreat. Ooh, it seems like a bad idea, actually. Let me try and do one more. I do have airplane mode on, so if something goes wrong. Okay, cool. And it failed anyway, so no harm, no foul. Let's see. Turn off airplane mode. Retreat. So what? In the last 10 minutes I've been doing this, I have escaped one time. So you can see, it's just all RNG. That's all it is. That was a good situation, I think. Wow, we're at 19%. That's good. That was a good situation, I think, to get on video, because that's one of the things that you do have to be careful for, is getting down to that point. If I had managed to exit, and then I found out I had left with bad health and protection left, it can be a good idea to try and either bring in like a healer or bring in some other tune to take some of their damage to let you get off that one extra hit. Just kind of a strategy that I have found in the past. Generally speaking, though, in this case, it's like you just leave and you try again. But if in fact you manage to escape, or I had managed to escape, then that might be a strategy to try. Perfect time, gonna leave. Unbelievable. So that button, when you try and escape from a raid, you have a 40% chance to escape. So conceptually, what? 4 out of every 10 times I should be able to get out. Currently, I think, at less than that. So, yeah, it's so dependent. Oh, that's bad too. Come on, die already. 10%. Man, I probably will only have registered that one hit. Of course, that's how that works when I do a video, right? Typically, I register at least a little bit more. I would say I typically average when we do this around 600 or so K, with as fast as we go through it. Nice hit for 20K. Okay, super unlucky with the taunts this time. Will it matter though? We're at 6. I'm gonna hit him one more time and then try to escape on the next one, and we'll see how that works. Finally. So I was able to register a bit more. Wait, did we finish? Nope, not yet. I don't want to take Xylo into P1. That would be terrible. Ideally, he's gonna get wiped out by the tank's top cannon. So you really don't want to, especially if your guild is counting on your damage. You would want to. I want to be able to use him in another phase. So if you do go on but die to that cannon, you need to make that decision of whether or not the guild needs kind of more of your damage later on, and it's worth retreating before that tank cannon goes off, because it will kill him. It will kill him. I have not found a way, even if you have retribution up, even if you have, I've never found a way to get around it killing him once it goes off. That was early. I may try to put up with this and retreat closer, just because I am so close to finishing it. If I can, and retreat. It looks like they finished it too, so we'll see. Where's his? He's at 3 turns. Let me go ahead and put this on airplane mode. Okay, there we go. So that's P1. All done. Still have it on airplane mode to try and escape from the tank. And one thing I have noticed is that it does, I think it resets the escape cooldown. So I'm probably going to end up needing to retreat here if it has. Yes, it does, if you can see that. So I'm going to go after the main cannon to try and stay alive as long as possible. I don't know that that's going to work for me. Ooh, that was actually pretty big. So now I'm just going to try and get out with Xylo, and if I don't and I end up needing to retreat, then that's what I end up needing to do. No, that was not a lot of damage. Yep, and there you go. So that's why you don't do, or you try and get out of P1 or P2. Oh, and I gotta turn that off. But it is done. We escaped twice out of all those attempts. That's life. Anyway, thanks again for tuning in. Hope this helped. Hope you kind of got an idea for what some of the strategy is for using Zylo in phase 1, and kind of what you should look for, where you might want to get his speed. Like I said, speed from about 190 or so it seems to be a bit better. 190 to 200 seems to work a bit better and allow you to get a little bit more damage. Mine's 175, and I definitely post less damage than the rest of my team. So, or than others on my team. So, hope this helps. Catch you next time.